smoother that way. Deborah is the president and CEO of the Patterson Foundation, and in just a few minutes, she'll be sharing with you an introduction to the Patterson Foundation, who we are, how we work, and just lots of perspectives on our organization and guiding principles. Donna Kohulovich is a consultant on our engagement team, and along with working on other initiatives, Donna manages the logistical support for our recruiting effort for this fellows program. It's hard not to just have a big smile, particularly when I get to Hannah, John, and Abby. I hope I've had it all along because I feel so enthusiastic about this entire team. But Hannah, John, and Abby are our three fellows who are participating with us today. Hannah is our inaugural fellow, and John and Abby are our second cohort of fellows who joined us this past spring. After Deborah and I give introductions to the Patterson Foundation and provide you with information on the Fellows Program, you'll get a chance to hear their firsthand experiences and to chat with them separately about their Fellows experience. Before we move on, I guess we'd like to take a few minutes to learn more about who else is in the room with us. And I'm going to call on each of you. I know if you're in gallery view, we each see a different screen. So to make sure I capture everybody, let me start with the top here is, in terms of Allie. Could you please take yourself on mute? And I guess your name, we're assuming that it's the right name on all these frames, but introduce yourself and also where you are in your program at the Lilly Family School.
Yeah, so my name's Allie. I'm currently in my second year of the master's program with the Lilly School, so I've got one more to go, and that's exciting. And I'm currently doing my graduate assistantship with the IU School of Nursing. So is there anything else you'd like to know, or is that good?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. I'm seeing Tanika next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tanika. I just recently finished the certificate program with the School of Philanthropy, and so now I'm continuing on with the master's part. I was fortunate enough to be part of the class that partnered with the Patterson Foundation in the spring of this year. We didn't get to make it down there because Corona hit right when we were trying to go down there, but we still had a great time. It was a really good experience, and I got to learn a lot, and I'm happy to be here today.
Great. Great to have you here too, and Allie too. Connor?
Hi, I'm Connor LaGrange. I was with Tanika in the group that got canceled by what is now known as the 2020 World Change. That's what I call it to myself here at the apartment. I'm in my third semester of the master's program with the Lilly School. I got my undergrad at IUPUI as well in communication studies. I was super grateful for the experience, even if it wasn't in Florida, with the Patterson Foundation this spring. I've been able to stay in contact with most of the people who I worked with. So the Charlotte County Habitat for Humanity folks, Gabrielle and I, we stay in touch as much as we can, as well as Larry and Mike with Margin and Mission Ignition. We go back and forth every once in a while. So very grateful to have had those people brought into my life by you all. So thank you, and I can't wait to learn more.
That's great. It's good to see you again, and Tanika too, and to meet Allie. I'm not showing anybody else on my screen.
So, Joni,
Julia Cole.
Yes, hello everybody.
Hi.
So I am a full-time master's student at the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. I'm in my second year of the program, so I'm almost done. I'm currently a graduate assistant with the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy Research Department, helping out with the Giving USA project. And I'm also an intern with the grants team at IU Health Foundation. And prior to graduate school, I worked full-time in fundraising for 5 years for the arts, primarily back in Massachusetts.
Great, thank you. I think you all take our breath away on all the things that you're working on already. Let me just move this up and down and see if
And I don't know, Ashley.
I see Ashley Dunham about to join us.
Hi, everyone.
Ashley, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. I am a part-time student with the master's program at IU because I'm still working full-time. I have been on the fundraising side most of my career. I'm currently a senior director of development for a healthcare foundation in the Metro Detroit region in Michigan, but have taken the grant making and foundations class at IU. And which really prompted me to learn more about this opportunity and the fellowship program with the Patterson Foundation.
Great. Every time I scroll, I see a new face or something. No, I think Hannah's giving me
that's
the signal.
everybody, Joni.
Okay, we can come back or the fellows can have them introduce themselves when we get later on in this webinar. We would love to be there on site with you today. I think that's what's happened the last 2 years of our TPF team has traveled to Indianapolis, but for obvious reasons we can't. And we hope that this mode of communicating with you provides an extra bit of convenience for you in attending. So thank you for being here. I'd like at this point to introduce Deborah Jacobs. She is our president and CEO of the Patterson Foundation. And she's going to share with you a bit of history on the Patterson Foundation, our guiding principles, how we work, and the kind of work that we do. Deborah.
You're on mute, Deborah.
You're on mute. The quote of 2020, you're on mute.
I'm coming. Okay, I'm off of mute. Okay, so Joni, who's ever in charge of the PowerPoint, could you go back? There you go. I want to be on that slide for a minute. But I also want to say to Tanika and to Connor, it's wonderful to see you again. And Connor, you probably would want to know that Larry has just become a grandfather to little Charlotte, okay? So if you needed a reason to reach out to him, he's kind of like bursting with joy from the Pacific Northwest, okay? So, so getting back to why I am excited about being here today, every time we interact, and Pamela and Kathy Badiger, I just have to say, every single time the Patterson Foundation interacts with IU, the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy, I get my goosebumps come up because you are, words we use at the Patterson Foundation are possibilitarians, and you personify that because we continue to discover cool ways to work together. So we are just grateful, and I view today as just one more opportunity where maybe we'll be cultivating other possibilitarians who might want to work with the Patterson Foundation someday. So let me give you a little bit of why I wanted to go back to this slide. At TPF, you'll hear us say TPF sometimes is our nickname for the Patterson Foundation. Words are very important to us. So when we talk about philanthropy aspirations to reality, the words and how we work is framed from the positive. While there are problems in the world and there are concerns everywhere, we feel that we have the opportunity to put a possibility, passion into what could possibly be. So when we talk about philanthropy moving from what aspirations we might have to reality, you'll see us use words like that as we talk about ourselves. So why are words important to us? It's actually where our money came from. And I'm going to take just a snippet of time to talk about that because each of you in the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy know we live in the United States where we believe in institutional philanthropy through tax policy or whatever, that capitalism provides wealth, that some people, hopefully we hope more than less, will use their wealth for the greater good. And honoring where that money came from, we feel is very important. So our roots actually go back to the mid-1800s when Joseph Medill bought the Chicago Tribune for two reasons. One, to make money, and two, to create a political party that would get Abraham Lincoln elected president. And he was successful in both of those endeavors. And if you ever get a chance to come and work with us, you will see how the threads of where that money came from embodies the work that we do now. He had two grandsons and he had two grandsons, McCormick and Patterson. And Patterson, he had one son called Jim Patterson, who eventually married Dorothy Clark. That's a whole fun story that is worthy of an HBO series that I will not get into now. But what is important to know through this family heritage is the money from the Chicago Tribune, we have learned, is because of a commitment to communications. It's a commitment to innovation and looking forward. And the particular circumstance that we have is it wasn't the great-grandson, Jim Patterson, who started the foundation. It was Dorothy who married into the foundation 5 years after Jim passed away that she established it with $3 million. And for 10 years, she did what we will call kitchen table philanthropy. It was not necessarily, it was strategic. It was what she saw and wrote checks to with her two trustees. At no time during that 10 years that Dorothy had her foundation with $3 million, did she ever change her will or add any documentation that would say, I want to have this geographic focus, or I want to have this issue focus, or this organization focus, or a blend of that. She literally gave us a blank charter with the do good and do it well. So we look at the opportunity that, we look at the Patterson Foundation. When she did pass away in 2007, very generous bequest to the nieces and nephews. She had no children of her own. With this blank unfettered charter, we know that we have immense flexibility. We have a great opportunity, but most importantly, we have a responsibility to do good and do it well. You'll notice even the colors here get darker in terms of how serious we take the responsibility that we have. So just imagine, you could do anything at all as the staff of a foundation with a board who has this situation. We could have worked on dyslexia in Nairobi, all right? But we decided that we would take advantage of where the money came from, embracing communications, embracing new futures, embracing ways to connect with others. So we decided to do it in our 4-county area. Got ahead of myself on my slides. So from the very beginning, the Patterson Foundation has been committed to connecting, learning, sharing, evolving, and strengthening. And so we work through initiatives. We are not a traditional grant maker, but we work through initiatives that strengthen people, organizations, and communities. So we know that how one works with people, we are out in community. We often say we play in the sandbox. We're out in community with those that we are working to strengthen. Likewise with organizations, and both Tanika and Danica, someday you will train me to not mess up your name every time I say it. I've been with you months and times, but in Connor, okay, but it's not okay because I should get it right, and I will learn it over time because your name's important. But they learned how to work with organizations in a distinct way to build capacity around mission thrivability. And then we know people are part of organizations, and we are all part of communities. So we work to strengthen people, organizations, and communities. And where do we do it? We do it in Sarasota, Florida is where we're based, but we focus on a 4-county area. Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte, and DeSoto. Those 4 counties might as well be 4 different countries because the demographics in each one of those counties are so wildly different, which makes working in community all the more interesting because everybody is unique on how they present, and it gives us a deeper opportunity to understand the dynamics of making lasting change around any initiative. So as you're thinking about, would I ever want to work with the Patterson Foundation? You are considering, you are contemplating coming to a foundation that is not issue focused. So we are not an education grant maker, but rather we work through initiatives with widely different populations and wildly different initiatives. Although, while they're all different, they all carry through our values and our different practices that we use. So actually, Hannah, during her start of being the inaugural fellow, did a blog about working at the Patterson Foundation is like cooking in a kitchen that has 15 burners on the stove. And those 15 burners are all percolating at different heats and speeds. And it's just not one pot of stew. Every one of our initiatives are quite different. So we feel, and you'll get a chance to find out from the fellows later, that when you come and work with us, it's like coming to work at 15 different foundations because the issues and the way we work are so different in each one of them. So as we think about our initiatives, these are just a few, these are not all of them that we work on. So from aspirations to action, which is all about connecting in community, about how to change the conversation and creating discovering shared aspirations to where we can take them, to working on a national movement with the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading, where the Patterson Foundation works with national network of the campaign, and then we also work in our local area. So again, we have that opportunity to work with national leaders, but then we also demonstrate what it's like to work on the ground in the field on what we are working on. But we also work with partners who work internationally, and that would be both Net Hope and the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. So again, if you're interested in international, our focus is on disaster. So it's not all humanitarian needs in terms of international, but it gives you an opportunity to learn how partnering works when we work with businesses and the humanitarian sector on disaster recovery and resiliency. So I'm not going to go through all of the initiatives, but I wanted to kind of open your minds to our idea is, how do we strengthen people, organizations, and communities in a way that the rhythm for people, organizations, and communities are right for TPF to work with them. We do not arrive with the answer. We arrive with the what is possible. The 2 sentences we always use are, who else cares about this, and what is possible, and how do we bring people around the table. We always think about the 5 external sectors of people, business, nonprofit, government, and media. And how do we bring all of those sectors into the conversation to make the change that we all aspire for? So I could go on for days talking about the Patterson Foundation, but I'm hoping you get from my intonation even, that we feel this is an incredible opportunity for really bright people to come and work with us, where the bright people get to help us be even better, but then you also learn along the journey. So I'm as thrilled as can be that we have all these humans on the call wanting to discover us. So Joni, I'm going to turn it to you because you're leading us with our Advancing Philanthropic Leadership.
Oh, Joni, you're still on mute.
You know, when you see someone else do it, you think, oh, I'm going to remember to do this, and then you don't. Anyway, Deborah, thank you very much for your rich and inspiring portrayal of the Patterson Foundation. If you saw the last slide, I know you saw the last slide, one of the symbols on that slide was this spaceship. And that's really how we are representing this initiative called Advancing Philanthropic Leadership, under which is the Patterson Foundation's Fellows Program. It's really our intent with this program to create a network of future philanthropic leaders who have the willingness, who have the capacity, and the foresight to incorporate innovative strategies for long-term and meaningful change. I think you heard Deborah portray that in terms of a goal of strengthening people, communities, and people, organizations, and communities. And we really intend with this to build on your prior academic and work experiences with the intent to provide you with a year as a fellow that empowers you to really be able to accomplish these goals. In offering this fellows program to aspiring philanthropic leaders, we had a decision to make about how to carry this off and chose to collaborate with the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy, probably for a lot of reasons that are very aligned with your decision to continue your own academic career with the Lilly Family School. You're clearly a leader in the study and academics teaching of philanthropy, and we felt that that contributed to was a great aspect of joining in this partnership. We really appreciate your innovations, and as your program grows with its academic programs, we have also been growing with our collaborations with the Lilly Family School. Our program of the Fellows Program began 2 years ago, but since then, I want to diverge just a minute before I return on track of describing some things to you about our Fellows Program. You heard highlighted earlier as we started this presentation, a couple of people in this room have been involved in our partnership in offering joint academic offerings. And so Pamela, together with Marilyn Kuhn, I believe a retired faculty member from your school, last spring semester, offered a course, The Future of the Philanthropic Sector, Experiential Learning at the Patterson Foundation. That course was offered all spring of last year with the intent that students, the 10 students in that class, and your faculty would then travel mid-March to Sarasota for a week on site with our organization. I'm slowing down here just a minute so you all can think about where were you mid-March, and Tanika and Connor and TPFers on this call remember that 5 days prior to students getting on a plane to come for the 1 week on site, regular travel, domestic travel closed down in terms of, I mean, people are traveling, but Indiana University, as well as many organizations throughout the country, said no more school-sponsored or organization-sponsored travel. We had 5 days to mobilize this together with our Indiana University faculty, our TPFers, and here I want to give a shout out to Donna Paholovich, who was masterful in, I hope Nick and Connor are shaking their heads as well as TPFers, in making this a seamless virtual offering of what was to be a week on campus. I know by now you all have been in a jillion different Zoom sessions and hybrid course offerings and so on, but this was the moment it was all beginning in the country, and it got quickly mobilized in what I hope was a really valuable experience for those 10 students, and we were very impressed with their participation in it. This course is going to be offered again. For those of you who are graduating, this isn't a possibility. For the rest of you, it's going to be offered during your summer one sessions. I think that's May and June. It will be on the schedule, and we keep our fingers crossed that by then you'll be able to have that 1 week in Sarasota as well as the rest of the course content. Also, we have a new partnership going in a course offering during your, I think you call it winter intersession. In late December through early February, Deborah is going to offer a course entitled Beyond the Check, meaning Beyond the Money, the Patterson Foundation's Approach to Innovative Philanthropy. So I suspect that your course offerings for that session will be listed for you later on in the fall, and you might take a look out for that if you're interested. So in summary, we really, really appreciate our partnership with the Lilly Family School. And I'd like to go on and describe more about our Fellows Program. As I mentioned earlier, Hannah, Abby, and John are going to describe their firsthand experiences in this Fellows Program. But as we've described to you our goals in creating this network from aspiring philanthropic leaders, we intend to deliver to you a 1-year full-time paid experience that begins a couple of weeks after your graduation. It provides a unique opportunity in one-to-one mentoring with Deborah, with regular meetings, regular guidance, and her assignments of you to a variety of different engagements across our broad set of initiatives. We intend to provide you with the connections to career opportunities. You heard a description of how we connect with initiative. Well, you'll hear more description about our initiatives and how we connect out to those stakeholders that Deborah described within those initiatives of people, businesses, government, media, and I'm missing somebody at this moment, but one other stakeholder there. And also intend to provide you with access to a network to transformational leaders. We really hope through this program that we provide you with empower you with the capability to be willing, to have the capacity, to have the foresight to incorporate strategies for meaningful long-term change and impact. In doing that, one of our other ways of thinking about the goals for our fellows is that we want to strengthen your leadership skills. We want to strengthen your management skills. We want to, term Deborah often uses is build, and we all use, is building connective tissue, building the network and connection to others so that you also are listening to others and sharing your ideas with others, and then for you to be able to internalize and integrate the Patterson Foundation's principles to really be out there making a difference. So who should be interested in our Fellows Program? I hope a lot of that's been portrayed already by you connecting the dots from things that we've said. We do give you the firsthand experiences with a very innovative foundation. You have the real opportunity to contribute, to lead sometimes various aspects of TPF initiatives. You work in a joyful environment that welcomes your ideas. I hope some of that joyfulness comes through as each of us shares different information about the Patterson Foundation, but I hope that's also portrayed as you go back and look at our website and see what we're doing, how we're doing, the pictures, the social media sharing, and so on. We welcome and respect your ideas as full team players on the initiatives where you're working. We talked about one-to-one mentorship with our humble but amazing CEO. And we hope to open up foundation career options with our networking support. We offer a competitive compensation package that includes health insurance and funds for relocation. So who is eligible to apply? We expect you to be a graduate of the Lilly Family School's Master's Program in Philanthropic Studies and to be interested in a career in community, corporate, or private foundations. We expect you to be, during that one-year time period, to be residing in Sarasota, Florida, and to have legal authorization to work in the United States. So before I mention some things about the application process, I would really encourage you, if you're just beginning to learn things about the Patterson Foundation, go on our website, thepattersonfoundation.org. I probably don't need to tell that generation or anybody that you would be expected to find a wealth of information about who we are, how we work, information about who our team members are, well beyond those who are participating today. And then we have a special page devoted to our fellows program, and this particular page /IU-Lilly is hidden to others. So if you do a Google search, that doesn't show up, but that's where you not only find more detail about the timeline of our application process, but more detail about our fellows program. We require that completed applications are submitted by December 31st at the end of this year, and that application is now posted. After that, at the beginning of the year, we will be reviewing your applications for a first round of potential interviews that will be live but virtual, that will take place the second week in January, with finalist interviews, again, keeping our fingers crossed with a possibility of on-site interviews for those finalists, or they'll be virtual like this. And fellows would be selective, and all will be notified by the end of February. We know that you all who will be graduating next spring have a lot of considerations as you think about what you're going to do post-graduation. And as we might become part of that mix, we want to be respectful of that schedule. So before I turn this over to our fellows, at which point Deborah and Donna and I will be departing the room. And at that point, I believe that the recording will be ended. By the way, the recording and the slides will be posted later on that website. I guess I want to ask if anybody has any questions.
And I'll mention, Joni, just for edification, questions not directly for the fellows, questions you'd want to ask Deborah.
Questions for me or Deborah. You're going to have a great opportunity to hear from Hannah, John, and Abby. I think I forgot to mention that they are all graduates of the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. So they've been in your building, they know your school, and will be meeting with you. Hannah, thanks. And I want to thank Hannah for reading our minds and progressing the slides. Great. Any questions?
Tony, could we just take a second to let Jamie introduce herself, because she was on a work call and couldn't join right at the start.
Sure. Jamie, set yourself up. Yes, thank you.
Hi, my name's Jamie. I'm in my second year at the master's program. I am at the IU Foundation as a graduate assistant. I graduated from IUPUI from the Kelley School of Business. How did everyone introduce themselves? Did they have like a fun fact, or
We didn't do that. We should have done that.
We're good.
Would you like to share one? Or not?
I can't think of one now.
Okay, we'll just leave it. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I also, if you prepared, I wanted to make sure to give you a chance to do that. Deborah, is there anything else you would like to follow up with before we leave this room?
I have total confidence that Hannah, John, and Abby will be able to answer any and all questions, however hard they are, from the participants on this call. So I'm quite confident you will get all the information you need.
I think I have that confidence also. You absolutely will. I guess before I leave the room, I want to share with you a quote from a TPF colleague not in this room. We were corresponding this morning, and at the end of her email, I get chills when I read this. She said, "It's exciting when the search for new fellows begins. The talent from that school is exceptional. We really appreciate the chance to meet with you and look forward to interactions with you all in all different kinds of ways. Thank you for your time."
Thank you,
I'm going to
Joni
turn
and
this over
Deborah.
to our fellows, Hannah, John, and Abby.